Welcome to News Game Plus. I'm Dermie, and I'm here with a man who's been furiously masturbating since about 8:30 last night. New Game Plus executive producer Jason O'Callaghan.
Was it even 8:30? I think it might have been before 8:30. I
It's
mean,
about 8:25.
yeah, because Anthony Green's thing went down, his screen went down, and he's like, based on the numbers, like even with no data, and Sarah Ferguson is drilling him. Are you sure the coalition can't?
And she would have been
can't
sad.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Shut the fuck.
Well, she had to make sure. So when she went back to a meeting at the US Embassy after
Yeah,
she had to report in.
Oh my! Look, we could literally just do a 48-minute podcast on this. I'm so
Yeah, just don't open that election results page
I'm not
again.
showing the election results page for Griffith. I'm wearing 2 pairs of pants. I'm wearing 2 layers of pants.
Good. Hopefully, it'll keep you contained.
I'm telling you, it would be.
I want to see both hands on desk.
Yeah. It would. Oh my lord! You just couldn't ask for a nicer thing. I've said this to you, and this is perhaps my weakness, and I cop it a lot from friends. Even I've always had a soft spot for Band, and I feel like his soft spot was the reason that they've copped this. Like he couldn't act on his own party because he was under threat from other sources, and so if he'd have acted on Maxi, which we all know, then it would have ended very badly for him. And I think he specifically had to have results on the board to show them, look what's happening to us. And Queensland was a little bit of that, and the by-election in South Yarra was a reflection of that. And that no one expected this. Like you've said, it's about 60%. It's kind of 50-50. I would say it's half an agreement with Labor's mandate and stable handling, but it's also a repudiation of that really nasty Trumpy mindset.
Yeah, I think they underestimated how much Australians like Medicare. This is going to confuse the hell out of any overseas listeners.
So basically, our centre-left party, Labor, which is formerly it's still the party of the trade unions, even if I wish the trade unions had a little bit more sway. It was a 2-seat majority for them, and then following a week after Canada did pretty similar.
It's like a 300-seat majority.
Yeah, so it went from a 2-seat majority to an 11-seat majority as we speak, not including 2 or 3 more that are potential for Labor as well. And the main opposition, our Republicans, basically they need to have 36 more seats to even form government.
There's only 16 available.
Yes, there's only and so. Really, so they have, they are half of a share of what thing. And then even in the Senate now, with the extra seats that Labor's gained, they won't have to negotiate with any of the independents. Pocock, Lydia Thorpe, Lambie. I
like Lambie. Lambie's funny.
I don't mind Lambie, and I will say that.
She says what she thinks. I like it. She's actually, they say what you think. You know how the Sky News says that, but they don't mean it. And she actually legit says what she thinks.
She definitely hates the Libs after they screwed her a bit on the Medivac one. She asked for the Medivac one. She voted with them, and then they never. So she's been going in and watching Jane Hume cop it from Bill Shorten, Jackie Lambie. At some point it's at some point it's like a masochist fetish for Jane Hume. She has to be sitting there. I've got to say, have I told you the Rachel Riley thing? Have you ever, know who Rachel Riley is?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Do you actually know?
Yeah.
Right, Rachel Riley.
If my wife and kids are listening, I don't.
Okay, so Rachel Riley is the definition of brain fighting glands organ over direction, because her politics and her mindset are so abhorrent. But every time you look at her, it's like Jesus Christ. And I would say, and this is me, my most misogynistic, Amelia Hamer for me as well. I could not deal with a conversation with her, but there's just some about that Oxford educated blondie thing that does it for my poor
but you're a
middle working class upbringing.
You're a Lauren Boebert man, I thought. So yeah.
I am too. That is true also.
Yeah, no,
I've always said to anyone, like, you go to the city and you go through Sydney and all these big cities, and there's so many beautiful women in the world, but give me a Western suburb shopping centre any day. Give me them juicy pants. I am trash. I'm trash at my core. And I've accepted it. What
podcast are we doing here?
Yeah, sorry.
I got to say, for a man who's had such fine-looking girlfriends over time, I have never seen you this turned on.
I'm telling you, just watch those results, and it's like, and I'm not. It's not even from the point.
Going to be listening, going, "What? What did I turn on here?"
It's not even from turning on. It's not even from.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's
I cannot stand it.
Like I love Labor, I love it because I believe
You do love labor. You are a communist.
I believe they're the path forward, but at
Yeah.
the same time, to me now, I'm going to be far more critical of Albo because he has the capital to burn. If there is something that they feel that they should do because they want to do, this is the nation building term. Like they've got the next 2 terms to nation build, right? Hawk had Medicare. There was so much stuff that we've done when we've had these long stints of Labor governance, and I would be more upset if he doesn't do anything with it than if he does something that I don't necessarily agree with. I would rather them do the nation building stuff, the high speed rails, you can't do nationalization of the mines. You can't do it. You'll just get literally cooed by the American.
Oh, you can't do that until you get rid of the governor general.
Yeah, and so I think wow, and I mean don't forget the John Kerr, a public toilet situated directly above his grave. But no, I feel like you have to do something every time. You
break
have
up
to do
Murdoch.
something.
That's what I want to see this term.
Your one is very much a break up Murdoch. Yeah,
look, Murdoch's
and your mate Turnbull gave him that. Like Turnbull can say what he wants about Murdoch, but he was the one who weakened the media ownership laws. He was the one.
Melky. I like Melky.
I know you do. The
idea you are flying.
Yeah.
But no, see, Garth Murdoch. Murdoch is the source of all the climate denial, the vaccine denial, and all that. He's the source of all the problems we have. And
definitely a lot of it.
They need to go, and people blame the internet, but it all starts with Murdoch and his stupid.
They
go after him
every 5 a.m.
Cut them down.
They set the agenda, and then the internet talks about it, and the daily shows talk about it.
It doesn't start on the internet. No, the internet amplifies, and the internet's a reflection of things, not the source. It's the internet is the symptom, not the disease.
Yes, I agree. And
Murdoch is the disease.
I agree. And so yeah, look, like I say, so if you're in Australia. It's gonna be interesting times. Like I say, I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'll eat shit in a couple of years' time. But I feel like now is the time for them to do the things that they've been put in place to do. But I think if you are going to burn, I feel like the voice would have gone through if they did it in 2027. I think the voice would have gone through. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, so what they do anyway.
Video games.
You've never seen a happier man,
but no,
in history than what's sitting right next to me right now. I'm just glad there's pants on you.
I literally finished Death Stranding. I love that game so much, and my biggest regret is not playing it earlier. It's one of those where I'm like, I regret.
Oh, we're doing games now. Oh, cool. We do games podcast.
But then I'm also been playing because I'm again Power Wash Simulator 2 is coming soon. I'm very keen, but I been playing Crime Scene Simulator, Crime Scene Cleaner, like I mentioned the other day. And
Olbo might as well be playing that right now.
The guy who voiced it is the guy from Postal 2. I'm nearly certain it's the same guy who voices the character in Postal 2.
Milo. He was in Postal.
He was.
He was a character.
4, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was funny. I miss him. He was funny. I mean, it was funny because everyone thought, they get rid of him, they'll get rid of all this alt-right stuff. But Ben Shapiro and that is still
yeah.
Just bring back, and Shapiro's not funny. Bring back Miller. At least Miller's. Maybe he walked into a young Republican thing and he was wearing like village people outfit, shooting him with like penis water pistol.
Yeah.
It's just bring him back. He was amusing. The clowns they got now on their little alt-right stuff now. Well, they're not fun.
Stephen Miller is just straight up scary.
Right? He's a ghoul, isn't he? Isn't he from Fallout? But they're just not entertaining.
He has to keep correct himself. He keeps addressing people as smooth skin.
Yes. But if I have to listen to crazy alt-right bastards, I want him to at least be like Milo and have some character.
Yeah.
And Shapiro is not it.
Yeah.
He's not a fan of his, I'll tell you. Where were we? Games. Yeah, so you'll be playing that. Well, I've been playing. You'll be very surprised.
Oblivion.
I said last week, I made a joke in the last podcast. I said it was part of the Minecraft cinematic unit. You're drinking.
I was saying
it's non-stop party.
I haven't had a drink since Japan, and that's saying so. Oh no, I've had like one or two with dinner or whatever. But I haven't had a proper drink. Like yesterday, I was 3 sheets to the wind in ordering pizza. I haven't had a pizza in 4 months, and I was like, "Fuck that." Good luck getting anything out of Jason. Like, I've got it installed, and I'm like, I just looked at my Xbox list, and I'm like, now that I've finished Death Stranding, I'm going to move on to some of these other story games. I'm like, holy crap! Microsoft released 5 in a row. That I'm like, I don't know if I've got the energy for 5 of these in a row. It's Avowed, it's Titanfall, it's South of Midnight, it's and then you're not even including Oblivion.
Actually, I
and I got Alan Wake as well.
I'll finish my Minecraft cinematic universe story, but I tell you what, the I think Microsoft are playing an interesting game right now, and I think it's a winner. Anyway, I'll get to that in a moment. It's to do with the price rises, and people are going to wonder what I'm getting at, but you'll get it, right? Okay, but first, like the more I play Oblivion, the more I realize the same energy is in Oblivion as is in Minecraft when I play it.
Okay.
So, and I know you're looking at me weird. I'm running around. I got like planting stuff, making recipes out of it. There's take out the mining. I know that's a big part of Minecraft.
Take it. I was like, take Call of Duty, but remove shooting and let them plant crops instead.
If you're running around with your sword and your bow and arrow, like killing animals, it's that. Look, as when you just play Minecraft casually, just piss farting around, just going visiting your houses and that. There's a very similar game. I'll just go with that. I know you're still looking at me again like I'm mad.
I get what you're saying.
I think they're very similar.
So this goes back to our conversation last week about Skyrim, right? Where we were like, particularly with Skyrim, was like, I played 170 hours of Skyrim, and I don't regret my time, but I didn't enjoy it. I don't sit there and think fondly back to the time I spent playing Skyrim. Whereas with Oblivion, it felt more like a real. Like when I say a real place, I'm not.
It was alive.
Reality. Yeah, it felt alive.
The stories were very well written.
So the hero of Kvatch. It's like, yeah, I am the hero of Kvatch. That's true.
Yeah, and I think Skyrim was one of the first ones where you had all these games that were technically superior to their previous ones, but for some reason weren't more fun. No. And there were a bunch of them.
Checklist game, Ubisoft checklist game. Ubisoft takes some of the blame for that, but it's not to say that they've perpetuated it in solo. Everyone does it now.
Yeah. Anyway, actually, I'm going to go into my Microsoft thing, right?
Okay.
So they've announced some price rises, and they're
not small price rises,
but they're not that bad. But here's I'm gonna get to my theory on what I think they're doing.
Okay.
And I think they're playing a really good game here. Oh. I think they are cornering somebody. Okay, so here we have so the PlayStation. I didn't worry about all. There's a million options for the not PlayStation, Xbox, but the standard one's gone from $7.99 to $8.49. Yeah. Not massive. That's kind of like the controllers they're gone up by $10. But the games, right? So they've upped their games, and there's all this talk about these expensive games. They've upped their games to $80 US, I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, so and Nintendo is running.
Nintendo opened the floodgates for that one, yeah.
And there's talk that GTA 6 is going to be a very expensive game. Not as bad as anyway. And I think we Game Pass because most of the games appear on Game Pass anyway.
Every Microsoft exclusive appears on Game Pass.
I think they're cornering Sony. And so what they're doing is they're saying, yeah, fine, Nintendo's up the prices. We're going to up our prices as well, but they're not really up.
Yeah. Because you buy a month of Game Pass and you can just
you buy Game Pass, right? So Microsoft they put up the hardware because, everyone's doing that because they're just using the whole tariff stuff as an excuse because there's no reason why it should go up in Australia. Yeah. So, but we should be just buying all the Chinese stuff at really good prices. But the games... raising them to $80 doesn't matter on a Microsoft console because not many people I'd suggest are buying full price Xbox games. They've all got so many people have Game Pass, and if they don't, they will soon. So all that leaves is Nintendo with their high price games, which they will
charge and
they'll succeed at, right? Because they have that strength of franchises and that. And that leaves Sony. Where does Sony go? Now Sony's going to follow because they'll be like rubbing their hands with glee. But they're walking into a trap, I believe, because if they start charging a lot for the Sony games, Xbox games are nominally $80, but they're not really because you just play them on Game Pass.
So this goes to that conversation, and it's an older conversation, but it's still somewhat relevant of attach rate. People would say, what's the attach rate of a console, say for like GameCube era, right? You'd be like, what's the attach rate of how many games do people own that is attached to their console? So do they own 10 games? So it's like, so realistically, if they own 10 games, the attach rate is reasonable.
And that mattered on the days when they made a loss on the console and
a
profit on the games.
100%, because that was how you were making that money back, right? So let's say you lost $100 on the console, but they bought 10, 15 games, you've made it back in licensing fees at least, right? Minimum. So if you think of that in the terms of, like you say, so let's say this year you want to play Fable and you want to play Oblivion Remaster, right? Oblivion Remaster is $50. So if they're charging $120 for Fable, Lamau, but they'll try.
They can do what they want.
Yeah. Right? So that's $170. How much was the Oblivion remake? Was it full price? I don't think it was.
Don't remember, but I didn't pay it.
Yeah.
I actually renewed my Game Pass license because it was cheaper.
So Game Pass is $16 at the moment, I think. 17 maybe. But like if you do that across a year, that's $160, add 2 more on. Pardon me. $200. It's about $200,
Get
right?
a plonko out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. 212 bucks or something
Yeah.
like that, right? If you think of that relative to buying 2 Xbox exclusives,
Yeah.
2. That's the attach rate. 2.
Yeah, I think they're walking Sony into a bit of a pricing trap.
The only caveat to what you're saying, and I don't disagree because I feel like this was always the point of Game Pass, but now they have the games to back it up, right?
Yep.
Because I mean, have you played Indiana Jones yet?
Not yet. And I'm
Yeah.
probably, let's be honest, I'm probably not going to play anything for months.
Yeah.
I'm back in Oblivion, and I'm back in Oblivion in a big way.
Right. So
I-
is the
I'm
internet. Don't
hooked.
worry.
I'm hooked.
Everything I get.
I got some Oblivion tips coming up.
Here we go. So I would say with new consoles due in 2027, and that is the timeline that we are being leaked at the moment through pretty solid leakers. There's going to be the Sony handheld and a Sony console in 2027, and it's going to be similar for Microsoft.
And Xbox. Yeah.
That is only 2 years away from the next console, and they're already raising the price. Are they really going to try and charge us $1,000 Australian for a console? I wonder. I wonder if they're going to do it, or whether they're just going to, because this is the only console generation where prices have gone up twice.
Yeah.
At the end of a generation.
Yeah, they're normally bringing out cost reduced models.
Absolutely.
And that's not happening. You get Sony started with the Pro stuff. So you're getting Pro models.
Yeah, but we are also subsidizing America's thing. Let's be real. Like,
well, that was going to get worse if the libs won. I'm glad we.
So instead of charging the Americans an extra, so suddenly they'll start to taking losses in America because they'll make up the gains in Europe, because Europe went up like €80 or something, and I'm like, Europe's the second biggest market. Well, that's crazy.
And a lot of companies are going to try and profit take off us because the whole tariff talk is a worldwide thing, which is a pity because we're not charging.
The amount of people the amount of people seeing like in like Temu orders now, it's after the April the deadline, the 22nd or whatever it was, and suddenly their $2,000 order has $2,000 of import tax on it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, Australia just cancelled their order of Temu Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one. True. That one's for Chad. He'll like that.
Yeah. Look, I feel like going on that, I think Temu Trump stuck. It's one of those Scotty from marketing stuck. Temu Trump stuck. Like, they wanted him to have Airbus elbow, they wanted to have elbow sleazy. None of that stuck. Temu Trump stuck, and it was such a detriment to him because the alliterations.
They attached themselves to Trump too much, and Australia didn't want Trump, and we love our Medicare too much.
Yes.
Anyway,
so I get what you're saying. It's going to be interesting to see what that means in 2027, and I feel like we are still haven't hit the point where the threshold on the cost effectiveness of Game Pass, we haven't hit it yet. Like, we're still like, my Game Pass goes through for $16 a month. 16, 17, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's $15.99. I just had mine come out the other day. We haven't hit the threshold where that doesn't become value. Do you know, we haven't even come close to that threshold.
Yeah, look, if I play, I suppose after a while playing Oblivion, I might as well have just bought it. But, it was just because I didn't want to go and shell out for the full game. I kind of wanted to try it. Game Pass was low risk.
Yeah, let's say you do say, you know what, fuck it, I need a break from this. I'm going to play Indiana Jones. You just install it. I want to play, I've heard good things about this. I'm going to play this indie game like Tempopo from our good friends at Witchbeam, who I am big fans of.
They made Assault Android Cactus.
Android Cactus, and they also made Unpacking.
Superb.
Yeah. So they've when I've spoken to them privately, they've spoken fondly of Microsoft's treatment of them. Microsoft's been good to them. I think Android Assault Cactus was one of the first games on they were giving away on Xbox, and also I believe Unpacking was Game Pass launch.
Okay.
So yeah, they've always, and then Tempopo is as well. Tempopo, of course, from the brilliant mind of Miss Sanatana. It's a good little fun rhythmy. I don't know. I just go play it, but like. The fact of the matter is, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to pay on thing. And he's obviously making enough money to make it worth their time. They obviously put all the resources they can into making it. I mean, I don't know. I understand the concerns around subscriptions and all that kind of stuff, but I think in the gaming space, it still makes value sense. Like, we're not at the point where there's only 3 main players.
The cost of a game is a lot higher than the cost of a CD or a movie. So I think when you're doing a Netflix style model for games, it makes more sense because the old days, you'd want a game, you'd have to get them on your birthday, or Christmas or something, and even now, if a game's like $80, right, or $100, I mean, it's actually not small
Yeah.
amount of money. So if you're a heavy consumer of those games, and also if you there's no like demo system anymore. So if you
Yeah.
want to try them first, like I wanted to try Oblivion Remaster to see if they'd got it right,
Yeah.
because they might not have. So I was able to do that very risk free with
Yes.
Game Pass. So
Yeah.
so it's
So I feel
it's a
like
good deal all around.
I feel like the only one who gets it wrong still is Apple, and that's not surprising because they're not a gaming company. But if you want to play Pocket Card Jockey, and I think Balatro, you need to subscribe to Apple.
Is Balatro on Game Pass?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's on there. I downloaded it the other day.
Oh, good. I need to give it. I've never played it. I need to give it a crack.
Oh, I mean, you're not a maths nerd. Well, you're a computer programmer, so you are still at your core a maths nerd, but just how it represents itself. So,
Overlook. Hey, do you want to know something that I got going? Talking Game Pass.
Here we go.
Did you know you can run Game Pass on your Steam Deck?
Yes, so someone said that to me the other day because they were like, you can also download a third-party app that will let you stream your PlayStation 5 to it. And I'm like, I was going to buy a Portal. I'm not going to buy a Portal anymore.
No, I've tried to, because I don't have the Sony set up to do that.
Yeah.
But basically, what you do is you go into desktop mode, add Edge as an app, and then you put in in the Edge launch parameters. You put in basically some switches to force it to be full screen and no border. And then I can't remember the other step you have to do because you've got to allocate a little bit of space for it when it runs.
Yeah.
And then basically you do all the stuff like add it to Steam, put on a little icon and background and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can then stream Game Pass games to the Steam Deck. It uses hardly any battery. Because I was able to do it with Oblivion for hours, and it just uses like 10% of battery.
Interesting.
Because it's effectively like playing it. Right?
Yeah, well, it's as if
like streaming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it uses and
so is it using your Xbox as the processor for that, or is it using online?
No, it was online. I would have liked to use the Xbox, but at the time my wife was watching something on Netflix, so I would have chopped her off.
That is my only thing because I was talking to our mate Bronco the other day, and he was talking about how he's been playing his PlayStation Portal, and it sounds strange and it sounds very first world, right? But like sometimes I want to play a PlayStation game, but I don't want to put on the TV, and I don't do that. Whereas like the Switch, I very rarely put Switch games on the TV. They nearly always play Switch handheld, right?
Yeah, I think that's a common. I don't think. I think if they did some stats, anecdotally, just watching, my kids and their friends play it with their Switches, it's normally
in the hand,
yeah.
And so with PlayStation though, sometimes like I mean, Blatro is a good example, but let's say I just want to like lie in bed, listen to a thing. I don't want to have the TV on. I just want to chill somewhere. I can see the value in a PlayStation Portal. I can see like an extra $200 for the luxury of doing it. Whereas, like let's say I think Oblivion you can play streaming online because there's no. It doesn't really matter if you drop a frame or two. Whereas
not fast twitch. Yeah,
correct. You can't play fighting games with using that stream. You just can't do it. Like if you're playing it, you can play Civ 7 doing it, something like that. No worries.
Oblivion works really well. Run it on Edge on your Steam Deck. There's a few extra setup bits, but yeah, look, it runs fantastic.
Because that was the thing we recently did IEM, and one of the things IEM they're all pushing the MSI Claw, Lenovo, Legion, whatever they're called, all their handhelds.
The Windows based version.
The Windows based specifically for that reason, so that you can say, but you can play Game Pass on it. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't want a laptop that's just in a weird.
No, the problem with Windows is it adds a whole heap of other issues. Potential issues. It's a pain in the ass. You just want to run it.
There's more attack vectors, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
Basic Linux system it works really well. So anyway, so Steam Deck, you can run Game Pass on your Steam Deck with a little bit of setup. But if anyone wants, if anyone asks in the comments, comments under this, I'll add the little switches you need to put into the launch. Because they're hard to work out.
All right, let's move on from our Xbox conspiracy theories.
GTA 6. Now that's been delayed in quotes. It's been 10 years. You calm down with the delayed stuff. No, I had my heart set on it. Only been 9 years late.
May 26, 2026, I believe is now. Yeah.
Now I'm wondering because you say new consoles are coming 2027. I wonder if that's just eventually going to get pushed out to new console launch time.
I think they will do what they did for GTA 5. I think they will launch it first on this generation, and then they will relaunch it on the next generation
for more money,
like they did with the Xbox Series. I mean, keep in mind, GTA 5 is a 3-generation game. It came out on 360 originally, then it was on the Xbox One, and now they've remastered it for the Xbox Series S.
Is there a risk though that they do a Cyberpunk 2077?
Not in the slightest.
Okay,
I think
that'd be my worry.
because I don't think they're not going to make it for PS4. They're only going to make it for PS5 and Xbox. But the problem with Xbox, of course, is Series, and that's in itself a
Yeah, because you have to have parity with Series S.
and so that's the
I
thing.
mean, that's dumb, Phil. Stop it.
It is, but I think, like I said, I think for the next generation, if they have the same thing, but it's a handheld, people won't mind. People will suck it up. They'll go, "I'm going to turn the graphics down because
Yeah,
of the
you
handheld."
can cheat with a handheld because of
Yeah.
the smaller screen. You
You
can
can.
actually drop the
Yeah.
res and less processing power needed.
As long as the DPI is fine, that's the big problem.
Okay, talking screens, I actually posted a picture. I obviously can't do it here on the on an audio thing, but of the
We'll go back to
adapter.
videoing them eventually, but yeah.
Yeah, the adapter that's been leaked. Actually, someone's being sued over this. I'm pretty sure by Nintendo. But the adapter that's been leaked that drops a screen protector onto a Switch 2. One sec.
He's dying. Sorry.
I am.
Sleepy
Oh, there you go.
dirty.
Yeah. Well, wait. Anyway, and it is the Switch 2 screen looks like it will be very close to the Steam Deck screen size, and because of the difference in if you see it overlaid on a current Switch, it is noticeably larger. And I think with all the complaints about the price so far, the moment people see that screen size, those complaints are going away.
So two-pronged. This is the thing. Nintendo's art styles tend to lend themselves better to lower resolution. You don't have to have. You can have a game in 720 look fantastic, but it doesn't matter because the art style will work for it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
the
these screens
still
are
looks
juicy
nice.
though.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
I agree.
God.
I agree. But this is where when you're talking your TV, your resolution matters because of the size of the screen. The resolution matters, but
Yep.
when you're talking handheld, DPI matters more. Like dots per inch matters way more than resolution. Like it's having a 1080p handheld is less important than having enough DPI to make it look good. That's why Retina screens for Mac always for so long were so ahead of the game because it was less about resolution and more about DPI, and it just makes it a more full, like looks nicer, all those kind of things. Whereas, yeah, like I say, with Steam Decks and whatever, it's running. It's obviously about resolution. It's about scaling it down, so frame rate, that kind of stuff. But Nintendo's art styles lend themselves more to lower resolution than high resolution. Like you can still look at some of the GameCube games, stuff like that, and they still look nice. Like you can tell they're old, but they still look good.
Yeah, well, they've got that style nailed. And when you try and look really realistic, you can like an uncanny valley style in graphics where it doesn't quite look right. But anyway, the size of the screen is, I think, is going to make.
I did take a photo. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people who are complaining about the pricing, I think they're going to be surprised when they see, because if they're thinking, oh, it's going to be, I'd say that a lot of the mindset is, and understandably, I'm getting an upgraded version of the current thing, and it costs a lot more, and that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
When they see it, it's not an upgrade of the current thing; it's massive. Like the screen's going to be enormous, and I think a lot of people are going to see it and go, "Holy shit, I need
Yes,
I need this." Because when you play with the Steam Deck screen, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty good.
And that's
again,
coming
it
to
goes
Switch
back to
too.
the DPI. I would be interested to see what the DPI because you've got an OLED as well. I think I got you an OLED when I was in Japan.
The latest version.
Yeah. Honestly, even the LED still looks fine, but the OLED. I mean, when I'm talking about all these different LED technologies, I've got an OLED B2 LG 55-inch TV in my bedroom, and black looks black. That was always my annoyance with early LCDs and LEDs was. Black was grey. It was shades of grey, whereas black on OLED looks black.
Do OLEDs get burn-in?
Not really.
Oh, okay, so that election graph you've been staring
at. Yeah. It's not going to burn into my retina. Yeah. It's burning into my brain, like I say.
It's burning your pants as well. Anyway, so what was the next story I had? Splitgate. Says Splitgate. Did you ever play Splitgate?
The old shooter.
It's a shooter. It was actually made as a university project by a bunch of students recently. It's a shoot. It's a very Halo-like shooter, but with portals.
Yes.
So you can actually like make a portal, and in Portal you walk through it. You can shoot through it. So it had some really good mechanics in it. But Splitgate 2, an open beta, is coming out in May.
Okay.
I hope it's successful because the original game kind of like fizzled out a little bit.
It came out at a bad time, right? Like,
yeah. I really hope it succeeds. But Splitgate is such a cool idea because I saw my son play it, and you basically, if you're sniping, you just create a portal,
and shoot it,
and it pops up a hole, bang, and then it's a mechanic that Yeah, that's it's refreshing. It is something legit different for a shooter.
Right.
So
So my thing,
May look out for that in May.
my thing with, I would say modern gaming, you can have these smaller communities that can carry the success for game as long as you don't have to answer to a big publisher who expects X, Y, Z. Games like Tarkov, games like those kind of games can exist. Like Tarkov, you can't even buy on Steam. You can only buy Tarkov by going to the Tarkov site.
Oh, their website.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
cool.
feel like you can have these niche communities, especially for stuff like shooters. You can have these niche communities that keep a game going, but you just obviously there has to be like a critical mass of it, and whatever that critical mass is depends on what kind of game you're making, right? So
Yeah. Oh, look, I hope that happens a lot because we focus too much on the AAA
yeah,
clans.
I agree.
Now, talking about that, EA sacked 400 people because that's what they do.
Yeah,
It's another day. They also, hidden in that news, they announced they're cancelling a Titanfall extraction shooter.
I mean, look,
Titan, I feel so bad for Titanfall. Titanfall was such a promising. Have you seen?
Titanfall one, they nickel and dimed it. Like all the multiplayer, you had to you had to unlock the guns, you had to buy the guns and DLC packs and stuff like that. Titanfall 2, as a single player story experience, it always goes on special on Steam. It always goes on special on Xbox. If it's $5, buy it. It's one of the better 10 hours you're going to spend on a game. It
Have
was
you seen what happened with this multiplayer? The story about what happened there.
no,
Okay, so the multiplayer kind of died because it got hacked a lot. Now,
yes, I do remember that. Yeah,
thing is, the hacking of it appears to have required inside knowledge of the code.
yeah, gotcha. It's
Now,
one of
it
those.
looks like now. I'll go tinfoil hat. It was
No way.
it was suspicious. Yeah, it was suspicious that that happened around the time they launched.
Battlefield,
No, what's their other? What's their Fortnite sort of shooter?
Apex Legends.
Yeah, okay. And they announced Apex Legends was going to be like a Fortnite style game. They had a lot of fuss about that, and turned
Yeah.
out not. It was just bullshit, right?
Well, it's still popular, believe it or not. Like there's still, especially in Japan, it's huge in Japan.
Apex Legends, yeah.
Yeah.
But around
Not
that,
Titanfall, Apex Legends.
yeah, around that time, the Titanfall, on multiplayer code,
Mm.
the exploits that were being done appeared to come from inside the house,
Yeah, right.
and that's my conspiracy theory: is they wanted it dead.
Yeah,
Because they wanted everyone to be moving it.
moving on.
Because this is one of the reasons why we talk about every so often about games shutting down servers.
Mm.
They don't want you on the old stuff. And Apex Legends, they'd invested.
You know,
big in.
Anthem still has servers. You can buy Anthem and play it, and there'll be online servers.
Yeah, no, it'd be good to spend a bit of time away from people. Nice and relaxing. Is that the game where if you take off all your armor, you have better armor stats than having armor on?
We don't talk about Anthem, but I
Dude.
just thought that was funny the other day. And they're like, "Oh yeah, Anthem still has servers." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well, there's no risk of that taking time away from other
No,
games.
no.
But yeah, anyway, so the whole thing with Titanfall's multiplayer, I've always felt was sus, and it always looked like I said, the hack came from inside the house. But that's my conspiracy theory. I don't back it. I've turned my light on because
I see that.
Flappy Bird's back. So
old mate Dong Tran or whatever his name was.
well, I read somewhere, I couldn't find a source for it. I read a claim on a Discord channel that they got the rights back off the people that tried to put all blockchain into it. And
Yeah, classic. Yeah.
So so it's come back properly. So it looks like double check, but it appears like they might have got the rights to everything back. So it's not trying to rob everybody.
Well, that's good.
Which is good. I don't know. Look, it's one of those games that was a moment in time. I don't think can be recaptured. So I've tried to play it a few times, I don't know.
You want to talk about like moments in time? You still can't play Flight Control anywhere. I love that fucking game, and you can't play it anywhere. And it's because it's now owned by EA, who own what was that studio? That's local one, Fire Monkeys, Iron Monkeys, Fire Mint, whatever they were. Whoever made Real Racing, they made Flight Control first. Flight Control gave them the money to be popular enough to make Real Racing. Real Racing is where they got bought out by EA, and then from that point onwards, they got merged and make mobile games. Then make Sims 4 expansions. Yeah.
Once you get bought by EA or someone, you're dead. But so actually, there's a spot there, I believe, for a retro console, one that plays those old games, maybe Flash years, where
Yeah.
basically just have because there's a lot of nostalgia amongst people younger than me. My age, and the nostalgia's for the arcade, right? But a bit younger, the nostalgia's for those Flash games and those early iPhone games. That's got to be the retro area that somebody can take.
So I obviously we were big advocates for Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. I've been
Yeah, the first one, so
right,
good.
but I went back and played PVZ 1 the other day, and I'm like, this is still a great fun game.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah. And then 2, they start to nickel and dime, and then I think they're releasing 3, or they've tried to release.
Oh, it was the Battle for Neighborville. They kind it was
Oh
kind
no,
of the Switch.
I'm talking about the classic.
Oh, you mean the
Live
top
one.
down one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the.
No. I'm in the
Yeah.
traditional ones, but and the other one was I was watching.
They got silly.
That I was watching. Yeah, I mean, with the amount of nickel and diming, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I was watching Family Guy the other day, and it was an Angry Birds skit, which is obviously because Family Guy's been around now for 25
They
years.
killed
by the way.
their thing as well. But
They 100%. But I'm like, I remember playing Angry Birds and going, this is still fun.
The
And
early
obviously they stole the concept. Well, no, allegedly stole the concept.
PVZ, Flight Control, Angry Birds, all those early,
Yeah.
very first gen of iPhone games where they were even stuff like Paper Toss and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I just think
Cut the Rope has survived this.
Cut the Rope, holy moly,
is still a thing, right?
Yeah. So Where's My Water?
Yeah.
So there's all those early iPhone games, and there was also a lot of them were Flash games that originally made it over because Apple killed Flash on purpose. That was a murder, so that they could have, because they didn't want Flash competing with their App Store. Apple gets away with that for some reason. But I just believe that's the next big retro spot. It's enough of MAME and reproducing arcade games. That's fine for people like my age, like in the 50s, right? But I think the next big retro rush will be that Flight Control era.
Realistically, Test Pilot should be able to run any old iPhone code. Like, I can't see why I couldn't. But I will say one thing with that in mind. What was that? We were just talking about it then, and it slipped my mind, and I was hoping I could catch myself, and I can't. I'm having a Dermie moment. No.
Can you catch dementia?
It's in the air now. Good thing we got Medicare, right? And so, but no, because with all these kind of older kind of titles, it's interesting, like you say, with having that kind of ability to play them. Like, how could you possibly do that? Like, are people buying like iPhone 5s and like hoping that they?
Well, you just can't.
Firmware?
If you find an iPhone 1 with original firmware, and
it's
some money. But no, they've got to be a MAME
There's
style.
a few people I know, I'm not gonna lie, who are buying 2 Switches at launch because they're just gonna leave one in the box untouched because they're gonna assume that eventually someone's gonna hack them. So.
In the retro space, got heaps of that bullshit. Yeah. Oh, okay, retro one for you. I didn't write it down. Limited run games. Have you heard of them?
Have heard of them.
Yeah, the fast.
Let's just don't go to any.
They got bought by Embracer Group a little while ago. Apparently they were already pretty scummy, but their scumminess got worse. And
under Embracer, no way.
To the point where, and this is pretty awful. Limited run games, the idea being that you'll buy like special editions of games reprinted, like so on a cart or on a CD. Turns out those shipping people, the CD versions were CDRs. They got caught shipping. Like, what the fuck? That's not really preserving games.
Yeah.
But because if people don't know, CDRs last about 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Whereas a proper CD lasts like 120, right, before it degrades. That's what they claim.
Yeah.
Either way, there's a big difference. But also, I can make a CDR on my own. I don't need to buy a CDR of somebody else. Like, I'm not going to Caribbean Gardens and getting myself a limited run game.
That is one of those things. So a CDR, obviously you can write it onto there. It burns the pits in a way that it records the data in the same way that vinyl used to work. I mean, realistically, CDs are just fancy vinyl, right? Instead of the stylus touching the vinyl, it's a laser reading the depths of the pits, right? And so that's what the CDR does. It burns those pits, and so that's how you remember, right? But like you say, I mean, it's a CDR. Like, you can just do.
I can do that myself.
Correct, right? Actually pressing a CD is a bit different. It's like
all they're doing is selling me a box.
Right.
The other one they got caught doing was on their Shantae limited run. Shantae, it's a pretty cool game.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's serious. Way Forward are one of those really quiet achievers in the space. Some of their games aren't great, but a lot of their games are very good.
The Shantae games are cool. But their limited edition Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
cartridges turned out to have scuffed and dirty chips on them.
Mm.
They used old boards in the carts, right? And so
I knew
yeah,
where you were going with it when you said it. Yeah.
yeah, how's like it's like if I'm paying and if you're buying a limited run thing like that, you don't mind as a collector paying extra because you
Yes.
are paying extra, but you want a premium product,
Yeah.
and that is not a premium.
No.
None of those things I just said are premium product. So limited run games, actually, I don't know because that news has got around getting around everywhere. I don't know how long they've got to survive because the collector's market doesn't like that shit.
No, they want the traditional stuff. Like, yeah, it's. I mean, I'm hoping that Pokemon cards, being as mental as they are, has taken the heat off the collector's market because it's still crazy buying some classic games out there. But we're all just re-releasing them on new platforms as well. Speaking of the thing I forgot that I remembered,
I see you
Crazy,
writing
Crazy
here.
Taxi on iPhone is the best. Well, the original release of Crazy Taxi on iPhone was the best one since the Dreamcast because it had all the songs.
Ah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
phone-
yeah,
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool.
So that was what I was trying to remember before. But I'm like, if you do have an old version of Crazy Taxi on the iPhone, you haven't updated it. That one's actually good. Go play it.
You need remembering.
I remember that.
You
Yeah,
kids and your
I remember
brains
that.
at work.
Yeah,
What else I got here? Okay. Okay. Two of the lamest childish things in the world joined. Last week I said Star Wars has joined with XCOM. Now you got Star Wars characters in Fortnite.
I got Emperor Palpatine hitting the gritty.
If there's another reason not to go near either of those,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
still,
yeah,
Star Wars is
are we
childish
just gonna
bullshit.
hand wave the Django Fett ship?
I'm not
The-
across that.
So Boba Fett's ship was called Slave One.
Oh yeah, they didn't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, but, okay, well, there's
To be,
okay.
no,
It's
to
like
be,
they renamed Slave Master Drives, although that was an IDE thing,
Yeah.
and the other one is Blacklist and Whitelist in code. They're going through open source projects and Linux and that, trying to remove Blacklist and Whitelist. Blacklist means it doesn't mean put the black people on there and they can't access it. For fuck's sake.
How many African Americans do you reckon are actually angry about any of this? Is the answer 0 or less than 0?
At the risk of sounding like Ben Shapiro, who I'm a big fan of.
Your
At
mate,
risk of
yeah.
like that. These things appear to me to be the ones that are complained
Confected,
about by
yeah.
people who don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
It seems like
It's
confected
dumb.
outrage. Like who is this in aid of? Like what are you in aid of? Like it's like we'll just again. I'll give Microsoft props. They made South of Midnight. It's a story with a black protagonist telling black stories. That's great.
that's
I'm
what
all
you got
for
to
it,
do
right?
more of. Yeah.
Whereas Disney is so. I mean, didn't they learn from James Gunn? Didn't they learn from Black Little Mermaid? Like, what is wrong with them? Like, it is you want to see culture wars 101. Like, I mean, like the conservatives are all mental in the head, but I mean, when the answer is Disney's the other side, Disney just wants to make money. And I don't know.
They're baiting. They do that to bait.
It baits this response, and that's what
Yeah.
annoys me. Is I fall for it every time because I'm like, it's so dumb.
But
Like,
then they go, oh, there's 3 people on Twitter who don't like it. You go,
yeah, three egg accounts.
because if it's not hard to find an idiot on Twitter.
Yeah,
It's really not.
Whoa.
So, like,
The news on New Game Plus, like
yeah, I actually there's actually fun. It's a sidetrack on this. I always wondered why they didn't like people climbing Uluru. Yes, right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Fine, it's a sacred site. Don't climb it, right? You know, you don't find people climbing church steeples. Like just stay off the fucking rock.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently, couldn't my wife? She was telling me today. I did not know this. One of the big reasons is because all the old people that climb up the rock, they have to go to the toilet up there. So they
shit up there,
piss and shit on top of the. I did not know that. So basically, all the Aborigines must be watching all the white people going, "Fuck, all white people are grotty."
Yeah.
They've got these old blokes sitting around pissing and all shit. What the? And because you can't even put a dunny up there, because then you got a rock with a dunny on it. Where do you put?
Yeah,
I had not thought of that ever. It never occurred to me. That is insane.
So Bali just implemented new
Stay off the rock.
Bali just implemented new rules around temples and stuff like that, and a lot of them are reasonable. But one of them I thought was a little bit unreasonable was you can't swear or be aggressive. Now, aggressive I'll understand, but telling Australians not to swear, even Bali bogans, and I'll be on their side on this one. That's insane. You can't turn around and say like, I swear when I'm happy, I swear full stop. I just have no.
It's like when Twitter they went through a stage where they wanted to ban the word cunt because because Americans believe For
About
some
the
reason,
Australian market, the Scottish market, half the Irish market. Like, yeah.
yeah, Americans believed it was deeply misogynistic. I don't know, whatever. But that's
The,
that's
South,
going
the
to be
South
far.
Californian
But
lens,
but
blah, blah.
but yeah, no, you do. That's not understanding other countries' cultures.
Yeah.
Because in Australia, it's basically you hear it everywhere. No, I'm finally say because I grew up with thinking it was actually something you don't say, but
Yeah.
nowadays it's sort of like just become part of Australian vocabulary.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's where was I with that?
You come from Pariah. That's saying something.
Well, no, no, we're scared of the Crow people.
Everyone is. Don't worry.
Well, actually, it came from the upper class part of Geelong, from 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 Highton. It wasn't even Geelong. I'm talking about.
God,
It's not quite Newtown, but it went Geelong will know what I'm talking about. I came from Highton.
Today's show is brought to you by the word oxymoron, the classiest part of Geelong.
The Toorak of
Oh,
Geelong. Actually, we're probably
The Toorak of Geelong. They're the ones who drove the Fairmont Gears and not just the Falcons.
Yeah, some two cars and sometimes two TVs.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I mean, yeah.
It's a relative.
I saw one of Teddy's videos the other
That's
day.
right. My wife came from up of the Crow way, so I'm like Billy Joel. No, that's the other way around.
The other way around. The other way around. Uptown boy.
I got my little poor girl. Wow, I'm in trouble when she hears this.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, dig yourself deeper.
Dig up, stupid. What was I going to say? I tried virtual game cards. That's available on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. So explain that. So it works how I think it works, right? Basically, you lend them to other people on your family account.
Okay, they haven't said anything about this. It appears to me like, remember the old primary, secondary console concept? It appears like it replaces it.
Yes.
And it's a game-by-game basis.
But I think that's it's okay. For someone who runs an event, for me, that is fucking great.
You take the one you want the game from, and you have to put it in the proximity of the other Switch.
Yeah.
We had to make him like hug, right? Kiss. So basically, and it basically kind of pairs, which makes sense. Is like, so you just can't take anybody's games, right? And then what it does then is you can just have a look at the games on the other console and just grab them, right? It's actually kind of cool. But I tried it with my daughter. We did find it was a little bit weird because it like I said, it replaces the primary, secondary console. It appears to. They haven't said. It appears to replace a primary, secondary console concept. And when they do that, there's a setting under users which basically check online before playing games, and that will muck up you being able to play your own games. So it'll have
that's similar to primary and secondary consoles. So I've got a primary console for my Switch
on a game by game basis.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, that's a bit brutal. I mean, like, because realistically, they could set a token when you rent it over. It sets a token for 2 weeks. It literally just says add on X amount of seconds, right? You're a programmer, you can understand. Add on 144,000 seconds or whatever.
Everything was seconds,
right? Sorry?
Everything's seconds.
Yeah. So you could add that on and say, at this point, check. After this point, it's the token is invalid. You could easily do that, surely. I mean, you could spoof the tokens.
You get it for 2 weeks.
Yeah. But surely, I mean, you could spoof the tokens, but realistically, if people are going to do that, they'll just get this like a hack switch and download whatever the hell they want.
Look, it appeared to work well so far. We just had a little bit of experience.
As someone who runs events, I love it because I can rent out games from my system. I can buy them on mine, rent them to consoles that I'm using for an event, and then run that game.
Only one, though. Only one.
Yeah, but that's
so it's primary, secondary console, but on a game by game basis.
But let's say I want to run Overcooked on one console and I want to run Moving Out on another console.
And you have both Smash. You have both of them installed on one console. You'll be able to play one of them.
Yes, that's perfect. Like that's so. I would then have mine as like the primary and then lend out as I go.
I haven't.
Perfect for my
thing. I'm not sure about you with the event thing because I don't have enough switches to try it. I'm not sure how you go with a third or fourth.
But isn't everyone in your family? But I don't want to lend them. I don't want to lend them the same game. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. But it appears the way it worked and the way we had to undo it afterwards, it appears like it's primary, secondary console on a game by game basis.
So that's the 5%. I always say Nintendo do everything great, and then there's always the 5% that's the Nintendo.
I could be wrong. It's just how it.
Okay. I'll have a play because I've got 17 switches, so I can check them. Okay.
Like one of those places that does bot farms.
Yeah. But it's the switches. It's like, I need to test something on an Xbox. I'm like, I've got 7 of them. What am I? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I get now. I'm going to do just on the close.
All right, we got 12 minutes.
Yep, because I play Oblivion all the time. And
Here
last
we go.
last
Here we
week I
go.
talked about how to get Dunbarrow Cave and the pirates, and how to basically get help with lockpicks. I'm going to tell you now the 3 things to do. And it'll be really quick. If you're playing the Oblivion remaster, come here 45 minutes, 45 seconds in on the podcast. This is the place to bookmark. The 3 things to do if you started playing it.
Okay.
Okay, first, you want to go to Vandersel, the
Yes.
cave, across the lake from the docks area. Looks like the road digs from the dock
Yeah.
area, right? You want to go in there and you want to find someone called Umbra who will wreck you.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll get wrecked. So you run out of the cave and she'll follow you. You run all the way back to Imperial City, not far, and the guards will kill her for you.
Yeah.
And then you take her sword. Her sword has Soul Trap, and it is, you asked about this last week, and now I have news. It is leveled.
Right.
So the earlier you get that in the game, that sword will last you forever.
Wow. Because that is the annoying thing with Oblivion, has always been the fact that it level caps your
Yep.
rewards and stuff like
It's real. Yeah, you did ask about. So I didn't really notice. Till you get into the big boys like the centaurs, you don't really notice. But that's when you know your armor's not good, right? And you take armor. Her armor is not leveled, but it's still pretty cool. It'll last you for a long time. But don't worry, I've got a solution if you're on PC in a moment.
So I'd like to quickly go back on that. I love those kind of here is the legendary sword thing, and that's what I think Fallout 4 did really badly. It was like, oh, it's the such and such version, like such and such gun of such and such, because you could keep adding points on it. Sometimes you want legendary guns. I'm okay with the idea of legendary X.
This is like a legendary sword. It does Soul Trap, so later on in the game it's going to be handy, right? So you want to do that. You want to go find this chick Umbra in Vandersel Cave. It is directly across the lake from the docks area, and run out when she chases you. You can find positions in her base to stand on just out of reach, but you have to be really careful, and then you can hit her with
one hit
fireballs
she'll get you,
yeah, she'll wreck you. But otherwise you run back to Imperial City, she'll follow you, and then the guards will take care of it. And then you take her stuff, and that'll get you through a lot. Now, the next one, you want to go to Coral, and you want to go to the Greymere Inn and talk to a guy called Valus Odell. I've done all these. And then you go with his sons to a farm to fight off some orcs or whatever, and make sure they do not die.
Yep.
Save the game if you have to. Then you go back, and he will give you a sword with a frost enchantment called it's not like children. Anyway,
Dilton?
I can't remember what it's called. It's like a children. It's got children, something like that. Anyway, it's got frost. I've been using it heaps. It is fantastic for the Oblivion Gates because the demons in Oblivion Gates, they hate frost.
Yeah.
They don't like cold.
Yeah.
So, and it'll wreck them. You'll be able to 3 hits and most of the demons are dead, and you can clean up there. So that'll make your life a lot easier. Next thing you want to do, because we talked about lock picking, you want to find the Nocturnal Shrine, and it's on the path north of Leyawen, the other side of the river from Leyawen. Then you go up there and it gives you the mission. Then you go down to the very south, bit over halfway between Leyawen and Deep Scorn Cave, your vampire cave. And there is a cave there. Did I write down what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter. And you go in that cave, you go left, underwater, and you get this eye thing. You take it back, and that statue will give you an unbreakable lockpick.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
Spam X if you feel like, or learn how to lockpick.
Yeah.
That is big. Those 3 things will get you through a lot of levels of the game before you have to worry about a leveling. The lockpick, of course, will last you the entire game.
There's also a trader who is like near one of the stables, and he always has 30 lockpicks in his inventory. There's
a shifty guy.
Around the corner
over near the stables.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going those 3 tips for now, but they're the ones you want. So you want this Umbra sword; it'll last you forever, and the armor's pretty cool. You want this it's like children's sword. Anyway, you want this frost sword from this guy. Really easy to get, simple to get, doesn't level, but it'll get you through a lot of Oblivion Gates, and it really
at that point you'll be able to forge one of your own or something.
And the obviously the unbreakable lockpick is a godsend. There's some other things, but I'm only going to do 3 now because we're 52 minutes. I didn't want to bore you too much, make it Oblivion podcast. Now, one more thing: if you're on PC,
here we go.
Because the leveling is a pain in the ass. Because when you get weapons or armor, other than Umbra, the Umbra sword, it just levels up for the whole, because you use that the whole game, right? Soul Trap will be useful later. If you're only early in the game, you'll understand why later. But the leveling means that the armor or the weapons are the level, they basically start the level they were when you get them. Okay, so if you get the frost sword, it'll eventually be useless unless you're on PC. because I got something for you here. You go to Nexus Mods, and you look for a mod called Auto Upgrade Leveled Items.
Okay.
Simple as that. You download, you can do a manual install, and you can chuck it into your game directory in the obdata data directory. You'll see it. There's instructions there. Modify your plugins.txt file that's in that directory to add that plugin, and your stuff will level up, and you can use them for the entire game. So if you get that Frost Sword early, or that Umbra armor, which it looks really cool, you can just ride it for the entire game.
That's what got to me about it is like, with not having those things that were worth going outside of your range for. Do you know what? Like they were worth going above your pay grade for. It lost a lot of charm. Like Oblivion lost a lot of charm compared to Morrowind.
You get really attached to some armors, and because sometimes with armor you just want to look cool, right? The Umbra armor looks cool. So you get attached to them, and I'm attached to the sword. I've got them, and I've got a fire sword as well, but you need to be level 20 to get that, so I'll leave that out, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because there are two other things. There's a fire sword. If you got the fire sword, which you have to get from one of the Daedric quests, and there's an Azura Star, which is a gem.
Yeah.
What are they called again? The gems that trap souls.
Soul crystals, aren't they?
Soul gem. Anyway. There's an Azura Star, which basically, because when you use the gems, they are one use only. When you go to soul.
So they power your magic, don't they?
Yeah. You can recharge your magic items. There's an Azura Star. You'll have to be level 20 to get.
Okay.
I think actually close to. It doesn't go away when you use it.
Right.
It's got about 2,500 filled things, so it's bigger than a greatest soul gem.
Yeah.
And you can basically just keep refilling it and keep using it forever. So between them, if you've got the Frost Sword, the Fire Sword, that Umbra Sword,
you've got a Philosopher's Stone at that point. But you're literally using souls to power magic. That's a Philosopher's Stone.
You then have a build, a very easy build. You have to be level 20 to get the whole lot. I'll just stick with those first three I said then. And the unbreakable lockpick, you basically at that point you can just run around having your way with the game, right?
That has always been the problem with Bethesda's games, is that it's very easy to become a god and then nothing can touch you. Whereas that was always
fun.
Whereas with Fallout, you always had a death claw could still wreck you. You could be level 20, you could be the best guy in the world, and you get 3 death claws and you got problems. So,
okay, I got another one for you, but I won't say here. But just quickly, I talk about Nexus mods and getting because there's actually a lot of cool mods there. I've been modding my thing, but obviously when you go on to the Xbox version, because I've been playing on both, the mods obviously won't be there. But anyway, what I have found is the leveling appears to level up. Playing the Xbox is fine, but then I come back to PC, it'll level up again. There is also, I won't go into it here, maybe another podcast, there's also a leveling mod for the creatures. So because it got to the point, this is why I said about the Minotaurs. Like it got to the point where you run around, the only things you would see were Minotaurs, like no more dogs, no more mountain lions or anything like that, no more pigs. There's Minotaurs and those spider things everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But there's
that's kind of what I'm saying about from the trajectory from Oblivion to Skyrim to Fallout 4 was exactly that. That was the problem. Was it just became like we're going to get the worst enemies now? You know what I mean?
Or if you get a small enemy, it's a sponge. But anyway, there is also a mod which I'll cover another time. But it will actually like return the leveling to the animals. So you'll still get all the same animals. But the centaur will be powerful. The pig will be weak, or the mountain lion will be still weak. But so which makes it more. A lot of people don't like it because they're like, oh, they're all one hit kills. But that's fine. I don't care. I mean, I'm a god.
That's what I mean. If you well, that's strong. That's what I mean. Like, that was what got to me. Is like it was leveling in the wrong ways because like. You should be able to one-shot a dog if you're a level 46 Daedric fucking,
I don't want to be...
If a dog... I mean, imagine that. A random pitbull kills you. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah, I know. It's not a preschool.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But no, the leveling thing, even the author of the leveling, he's on record saying that he thought that was the worst thing he ever did.
Yeah, so I'm glad because he's correct, yeah.
So, but anyway, there's mods to get rid of. But those mods you want that it's like the children's sword. It's got chill in it. It sounds like children. I've been calling it that. I've been very Epstein, but you want that Frost Sword, very easy thing. Replay the bit where I said I won't go over again because we're getting close to an hour. You want the Umbra Sword, which will be with you forever and it captures souls, very handy. And you want that unbreakable lockpick because then you will not throw your controller because controllers went up in price.
That's true. That's true. They did. So on that note, we should wrap. Is there anything more you want to add, or we got 3 minutes, 2 minutes?
No, that's all right. I'll just say we're finally. I mean, the only potato that us Irishmen have ever not liked.
He's
finally gone.
Yeah.
So
I'll say, what is it? Peelers out. Put your peelers out.
I did like that from Dan. Yeah, put your potato peelers out.
Yeah.
Most people won't get that unless they're cricket fans.
Yeah,
anyway. But yeah, so but anyway, it was a very interesting weekend for us.
Yeah.
So our American friends will probably be very jealous.
Yeah. Well, speaking of interesting weekends coming up, the end of May we have BAM Ballarat in Melbourne, Tekken World Tour, Arc System. I'm pretty sure we got their world tour as well.
Oh, when's the next glitch? Because I'm going to send me kids.
That is in June. There might be one in May, but there's definitely first week. We're doing it for Switch launch. I've got a bunch of Switches, so I'm
gonna send my children because they're kind of boring me. They need things to do.
Yeah.
I keep telling them about this thing. So Uncle Jason will take care.
Well, like I say, we always welcome in at Glitch. I'll always look after everyone. We have a very good crowd. They'll look after each other. So it's
I expect so because it's a nerdy crowd. It's not the same crowd that goes to a normal nightclub.
I'm going to dig the knife a little bit deeper than that. I think when you go to a fortress, you go with your group of 5 friends and you rent the table or rent the game or whatever, and you have your dinner and you sit down. You leave with that 5 friends. Glitch has always been very good with introducing people to new people without making it a thing. Like you don't have to go on, but if you want to, people, do you mind if I play with you, blah, blah, blah. And you don't even have to like all these people you strike up conversation with, but it gives you those opportunities to do it organically without having to contrive meeting new people. Do you know what I mean?
I think perfect for neurodivergence.
I mean, I'm not going to say it, but you met Bonnie. So, I mean, she says, anyway, I think she's diagnosed anyway. But no, like
my kids are officially.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure she is as well. But like, it's exactly that. It's so it offers those opportunities that don't come up elsewhere, and that's one thing we pride ourselves on from the very start. So
I think it's good, and I think I wish it was around when I was young. Although I was a menace when I went. But I just think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
So yeah.
On that note, we will leave it there. It is BAM, and then it is I'm overseas again. Unsurprisingly.
Oh, well, can I just guess which country? Oh, you already said it.
It's
why would you leave Australia now?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna out him, but it's Jackson, and so
You're gonna out Jack.
Well,
I think you're a bit late.
I've left that one late, but no, I'm saying I'm saying the age.
I guess that one already.
I'm saying the age of a gay man. It's like Dorian Gray's painting, right? It's just like he'll melt now.
No, I don't even if he melted, he'd still be a good looking wrestler.
I mean, that's. Yeah, he likes the sun. It's like, yeah, because you're half Sicilian, half Serb. You can handle the sun, so it's fine.
He's got that nice olivey skin.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but no, so that will be another week or two where there may not be a podcast. We'll have to figure something out. But there's BAM, bunch of cool stuff coming up as well. Glitch on I think it's the 7th. Don't quote me. I'll get details for the next one.
Of May.
Of June.
June. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but we're figuring out if there's one for May. We're figuring out if there's one for May. It'd have to be late May, and we're running out of time.
And it's going to be a Switch one.
That one, I intend for it to be a Switch launch one.
Oh, that'd be cool. We'll keep it quiet until then.
It's also Comic-Con that weekend, but that's not the reason we're doing it. But I'm just, we'll throw it in the marketing.
Good weekend for weebs.
Yeah. On that note, we will leave you there and see you guys next time.
Diddly dee.